New AAA survey shows more and more people do not trust self-driving cars. The results show that 73% of Americans say they'd be too afraid to ride in a fully self-driving car. In January, that number was 63%. So for more, we're joined now by Wall Street Journal tech and auto reporter Tim Higgins. And Tim, developing this technology, great achievement here, but it appears a bigger achievement will be getting consumers more comfortable with using it.
Yeah, this survey comes after a spat of negative headlines about this technology. You got to remember, just a few weeks ago, outside of Phoenix, Uber was involved in a crash that killed a pedestrian with one of their self-driving cars, and then we had the Tesla in Mountain View that the driver died in that crash. That's a semi-autonomous system. Both of these crashes, just days apart, have really raised a lot of questions about if we're ready to deploy self-driving technology going forward.
Yeah, we also had that issue in Georgia, I think it was not too long ago, where that Tesla crashed into the back of a fire truck, and they said that the autopilot was on at the time. Tim, AAA says the millennials, the tech generation here, also losing confidence in self-driving cars as well. What does that say about the future of this technology from a group of people that love using technology?
Well, the challenge is going to be for these self-driving car companies and the developers of it to communicate exactly what they are developing. We've got Waymo on one spectrum that's developing a driverless system, and then we have more and more automakers putting on the road these semi-autonomous systems that have different abilities. And the challenge is really going to be getting to people to understand what these cars can do, what the systems are capable of going forward.
Yeah, that is my next question here. Because all vehicles aren't generally connected yet, are we just moving a little too fast with fully self-driving cars?
Well, if you look at a company like Waymo, they've been doing this for about a decade, and their general kind of philosophy has been to create a system that wouldn't depend upon sensors in the roadway or in the stoplights, or they need to talk to other cars. It essentially would be a self-contained unit that could understand the road situation and make decisions based upon its sensors and its computing power to navigate the world and keep it safe. So that's really been a philosophy that a lot of the companies are taking now, because if they say if they wait for the government to put sensors in the road or something like that, it could be a long time before it can be deployed.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Waymo, because we haven't heard them come out with anything yet, like let's say Tesla has in terms of that. What are they doing to build that consumer confidence?
Well, Waymo is probably one of the more aggressive companies to deploy driverless at this point. They have vehicles on the road in suburban Phoenix and Chandler where they don't have people behind the wheel, and they've said they're going to deploy a robot taxi service this year. And to lead up to that, they've really been aggressive in dealing with local community leaders. They worked with the local emergency responders in Chandler to try to understand what their cars would do if there was an emergency siren or such a thing. They worked with the city to hold an open house to have community members come in and see the cars and essentially kick the tires. And they've been taking out members of the community in those rides, in those vehicles.
Well, at least they're trying to build some confidence in the use of that vehicle, but it will depend. The future of this technology will depend on whether or not people actually want to use it. Tim Higgins, Wall Street Journal tech and auto reporter, thank you so much for joining us today.